Hey everyone, welcome to Long Live Rock with me, Lad from the Woods, where we bring new classic rock from the bands of the past and new classic rock from the bands from now, from the year 2000 on. Well, we have another blast from the past with a new album that came out a few years back. He hasn't done much recently, but he's well known amongst us Joe Walsh fans, obviously. One of Keith Moon's best friends. There's a story behind that. Anyways, we'll tell that story another time, but this album came out literally unnoticed. One of Joe Walsh's best albums ever of all the albums he's done. He's an Eagle from the Eagles, and of course the James Gang before that, and then of course solo albums. And he, anybody that remembers the James Gang, Funk 49 for the older folks and the younger ones, well, go look up Funk 49. It's one of his biggest songs. That and Rocky Mountain Way. He's the original one, not Triumph. Anyways, Joe put this album out, like I said, a few years ago. I've had it since then because I'm a huge fan of Joe Walsh. And this album is good, like good. Every song on it is a kicker. It's good. And like in the old days, you didn't have a choice but to listen to all the songs on the album. And that's what's ruined music, because a guy puts out 13, or a band puts out, or an artist puts out 13, 14 songs. So people pick out the 2 songs they like and that's all they listen to. In the old days with the vinyl records, you didn't want to get up and change songs every 5 minutes unless you were sitting right next to your turntable. Well, that'd be stupid because you couldn't hear right unless you had earphones. So you always played the whole album, both sides. So you got to know the other songs, because a lot of songs you hear from the classic rock era that everybody loves so much are not hit songs, not even close. They're popular songs that just stayed on the radio forever and then sold millions and billions of copies over the years, but they were never number one. The Who never had a number one in America. They didn't need to. They sold hundreds of millions of records, but it was songs that were not hits. Regular radio play, Who's Next? Regular radio play, Exile on Main Street, Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin 1, 2, 3, and 4, But, you only heard a few songs off of those albums on the radio, and now people just play 1 or 2 off the CDs. Well, the old ways, that's how you learn where the good music was. That's what we're doing here, too. I don't just pick, Vincent Price from Deep Purple in the last video because it was a charter, I think, in England. No, it came in the top 10. No, it's a good song. But there's also about 8 other really good songs on there. And we're going to listen to those like people used to. Anyways, enough talking. Like I said, this is Joe Walsh's. The album is called Analog Man, and this is the title track off of Analog Man. Get ready for some good Joe Walsh. He hasn't put out an album lately, except for this weird thing he put out. I'm hoping he's going to be doing a new rock album, or the Eagles, whatever ones are left, are going to do an album. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, let's go. I just have to say, boomers will really get this, especially the ones, not the younger boomers like me, because I'm fairly computer proficient, and most of my age group is, the 58, 59 and up. But once you pass 70, that's the other boomers, like my parents and stuff. Like my mother's 80. My dad passed away young, but and he was the one that, you could see him behind me, the picture behind me there, that's my dad. He passed away 6 months after that picture, stomach cancer. But him and our thing was music. And there's hundreds of albums, actual albums, that he had, that he'd buy them, bring them home, and him and I would just sit around and listen to them and stuff. But anyways, if you hear what he's singing, he's an analog man in a digital world, and boomers, older boomers will get this because, it's like, fuck, man, I don't understand all this digital email, blah, 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 blah. Joe's kind of like that. He's not a technical guy, that's for sure. On his guitar, sure, and his amps. It seems like he can't run a cell phone or any of that shit, and I know lots of people like that. Anyway, just wanted to put that in there. That's what this song is about. You really need to listen to the words because Joe has always got that wry commentary in his songs. Anyway, Lad from the Woods is now shutting up again.
The whole world's living in a digital dream. It's not really there, it's all on the screen. Makes me forget who I am. I'm an analog man. Yeah, I'm an analog man in a digital world. I'm gonna get me an analog girl who loves me for what I am. I'm an analog man. What's wrong with vinyl? I think it sounds great. LP is 45 to 78, but that's just the way I am. I'm an analog man. Turn on the tube, watch until dawn. 100 channels, nothing is on. Endless commercials. Endless commercials, endless commercials. The whole world's glued to the cable TV. It looks so real on the big LCD. Murder and violence are rated PG. Too bad for the children, they are what they see. The whole world's living in a digital dream. It's not really there, it's all on the screen. Makes me forget who I am. I'm an analog man. Yeah, I'm an analog man in a digital world. I'm gonna get me an analog girl who loves me for what I am. I'm an analog man. Yeah, I'm an analog man in a digital world.
Sorry about that. I hadn't taken my diabetes pills and I was starting to feel, I get neuropathy, which is a thing where your nerves are overstimulated and stuff because of my diabetes. When about 20 years ago when I first discovered, well, my doctor first discovered I had diabetes, I'd been out of control for a while. So a lot of the nerve endings had gotten messed up and stuff. So I had like bad neuropathy. But with pills, there's two pills that I take there's like 6 of them, 2 in the morning, 2 in the middle of the day, and 2 at night. And they help with the neuropathy, but I hadn't taken them. And it comes back pretty quick. You can't skip the pills. So those were like my diabetes pills and blood pressure and all that garbage. So anyways, hopefully once I get out to BC and I start eating nothing from a store ever again, just whatever I raise and grow on my land, that's what I'll be eating, I'll trade for things like flour that I can't make on my own, but stuff like that, but anyways, Great song, eh? And he sees I'm an analog guy looking for an analog girl, and I'm like, kind of. Now, a girl that I was a very good friend of mine from Gatineau, Quebec. We've been friends for, I don't know, 20 some years. Anyways, she is just, she's on the edge of, like, she's Generation X. So her music was more like Madonna, the 80s and 90s, and, you know, that thing. But, oh, I can't remember why I'm telling you guys this. It had to do with Joe Walsh. But she gets it. But she's like 1,000 times smarter than me on computers. So Generation X, because they kind of were, you know, like, we had one of the first Apple 1s or 2s, whatever, because my dad worked at a computer place. But anyways, so we had an advantage there. So when Windows started to come out and all that, I mean, us kids were already kind of, in our household, we're already kind of ready for that. But that was like the very basic internet was just starting. But right up through the 2000s, even now, I mean, she's a genius on a computer. She's just absolutely wicked. She and her phone and apps and all kinds of stuff. So, but she's only, what is she now? I'm 59, so she's, I think, 56, or yeah, I think she's 56. So we're only 3 years apart, but it's that much of a difference with her. I mean, okay, she's born with that smartness, but computer smartness, it just comes natural to her. But, you know, she's extremely good. And I say I'm good. I can build my own computers, install my own Windows, all that. I don't need anybody helping me with that. But, I mean, compared to the kids, forget about it. I'm you know, I'm nothing. But she makes me look like nothing. So, anyways, just part of that song. Of course, Joe Walsh with that wry humor. The guitar almost sounds wry, like the way he does it. It's like, you know, just good old Joe Walsh, eh? Anyways, the poor man, poor Joe Walsh. Keith Moon laid eyes on him, and Keith Moon decided Joe Walsh was going to be his best friend. And Joe is like, of all the people, at that time, 4 billion people in the world, and Keith Moon decides he likes me. And of course, the two of them partied all over the States and California and around the world for a good many years. Anyways, thank you for coming, everyone. I really enjoying to see more and more people coming, so that's really cool. So, you know, I'm going to tell you there that we're going to be doing a whole lot of videos today. It's cold out, and I'm going to air drum to stay warm. It's like minus, right now it's minus 20 Celsius, but it's going back down to minus 30 later on. So anyways, I won't get into a long explanation about what was happening. I did that in another video. That noise is the central furnace coming on. It's been running more than it's ever run since I've had this trailer going on 10 years now. And it's the most it's ever run, but she's doing a good job keeping me warm. I'm not running it too hard. I don't want to run out. I got 100 pounds of propane. In the next 2 weeks, there's nothing under minus 10 or 12 Celsius in the day, and everything under minus 15 Celsius during the night in the next 2 weeks. Great for ice fishing, which I'm going to go do tomorrow, and I will be filming, but that'll be for fishing camp life. Anyways, I'm going to thank you all for coming. Thank you for comments. Thank you for believing. You know, there's people believing in what I'm talking about with the new rock and how we got to train the younger ones, you know, expose them to new music so they have their own. I mean, these kids are making the music, so they're already doing it. But I mean, now we can build again. And, you know, we're going to have our version of the Rolling Stones, you know, Greta Van Fleet, you know, big with the kids, almost like Zeppelin was to us. And I'm not saying they sound like Zeppelin. Okay, there is, kind of, but, you know, there's lots of stuff coming out that there's a band called the Band of Heathens that we've done, and they're very Stonesy sounding, and they do a lot of cover songs, and they do them well, and we'll be doing them here. So anyway, thank you for coming, okay? You guys be good out there. If you can't be good at being bad. I'm going to say peace, long life, and live long and prosper. Peace to everyone, and long live rock! See y'all later.